how do you see the involvement of AI in this thing? Because as you said, the data is so much for a human, it's quite hard to grasp. But I would imagine that nowadays it would be possible to design some artificial intelligence algorithms to find out some of the things that maybe it's hard to see for the human eye.
My experience is you have to be very careful with AI, because wine is a very particular and very specific subject. I mean, when I was presenting the information from the Pinot Noir conference, sometimes you love it if one of the diagrams has a real anomaly on it. And I looked, and in the sub $4 bracket, suddenly we were looking at the change in distribution between countries over the 8 years since we last had a Pinot Noir conference. And this seemed to show that there was a massive leap up in terms of the sector that the US controlled of sub $4 US Pinot Noir, which isn't really necessarily a category that most people should be looking at, I think. And when I looked into it, there were two products concerned, and I think one of them was labelled Almaden Mountain Burgundy, and it came in a 5-litre cask, hence the really low 70 centilitres. And somebody, when they put the match together here, had seen the word Burgundy and decided that was a Pinot Noir. And you do a quick search in Google, and you see that I can't remember whether it was that one or the other one had included in the blend were Merlot and Zinfandel. And you think, well, okay, so that's actually the information's wrong. We'll correct that. And you frequently get issues like that we have to correct. But I was intrigued. Google's AI assistant at the time came up with an idea, and I was searching for the blend for these wines, and it told me that because they were Burgundy, the blend would be Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. So even if it was Burgundy, the blend wouldn't be Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. But I think for information like that, you have to treat AI very carefully, because if you're not specialist enough, you might think it's completely correct, and that then modifies the amount of rubbish on the internet, and that therefore increasingly becomes a modifier. So we do need to be cautious. I think you need to treat AI very much like the sort of the office temp you take on sort of straight out of university, that they can be very eager, they can get through a lot of stuff, but you have to be very careful with what they produce. Now, how quickly that will change, I really don't know. And I'm sure there are plenty of areas in terms of, say, analytics, writing, programming is what I understand is very handy to get it to do. I don't work in that part of the business, so I can't really comment beyond the fact that I've heard that remark. But yeah, I mean, I've had a number of instances. One of our guys got AI to write an article about sweet wine at one stage. And yes, it had a lot of the right information in it, but it wasn't an article that was structured in a way that it sort of said, oh, well, there are these wines and they're botrytis wines, and this is because the grapes concentrate, etc. And then these ones are where the fermentation's been stopped, and these are where the wine's been fortified. Yeah, it didn't make distinctions like that. And the other thing was, they will pick up on information. I mean, for instance, it told us that Sauternes could be red. Well, we know that red wines are made in Sauternes, but no. So it's got the wrong end of the stick there.
Exactly.
And yes, there is this idea that AI will improve, etc. But AI will only improve if the information it's using is correct. And so if there's more AI-generated misinformation like that out there, it's going to have to be much more discerning than it is now to get past that.
Well, I think the potential in this is more on the side of like internal AI systems, so not the general ones that everybody can use, but models that have been trained on internal data, and you can be. So, for example, if Wine Searcher would build model that is trained on your interior data, and maybe all these, I'm sure that it can be programmed to not include the
I
anomalies.
suppose I'm talking about what I would refer to as generative AI, and I'm aware that I'm straying way off my specialist subject here. So your listeners are probably turning around and saying this is complete tosh. I mean, certainly we have people who have been working on wine matching engines for years now, taking models and matching what we've seen in one wine match to the rest of the database and helping us do that. But again, those have relied on us having a team of people continually maintaining those matches. So I think for accuracy's sake, and here at Wine Searcher, we've always prided ourselves very much on trying to be as accurate as possible, because otherwise the tool is useless if you can't rely on it. I think we're a long way off replacing people with AI on that in that area.
Yeah, I do agree.
Thanks for watching this video. You can watch the full podcast episode by clicking here, or watch another interesting video by clicking here. Let's continue the discussion in the comment section, and see you in the next one.